This next segment, we're going to look at the entry of the scores into the gradebook. So we have added the assignment column, and I want to point out that when we're in standards mode, there are two views for the gradebook. There's the assignment view, and then there's the standard view. Remember, there are 3 levels of standards, however. The gradebook refresh here. And you can see that you can view it in domains, clusters, or the individual standards. So we'll click at that lowest level. And here are all the standards that we entered. Now, standards 1 through 8 minus 2, so we've got them there. Furthermore, we can expand each of these and see which assignments are associated with each standard. Now, we're starting off with a single assignment tied to each of these standards. This is the scroll bar right above them in TeacherVUE, so if I click there, I can move over, open up that last one, go all the way to the end. So the pink-headed columns are the assignments. So Module 1 End Assessment is the same assignment. It's tied to each of these standards. Headed in blue, if we hover over there, it gives the description in a larger font. So we could enter the scores here by clicking on the Module 1 assignment column, standard by standard, but I mean, that's a lot of clicks. Even if we tab over, we're hitting tab a bunch of times to get to where we need to be. Because we don't want to enter it in the standard column, because as time goes on, you're going to have more assignments associated with the same standard. So we don't enter the score there. We're entering a score for a single standard, but in that particular assignment. So better to go back to the assignment screen where they're all grouped together under one assignment. Give it a second to refresh. Oops. Apologize. I'm working in here too long. This make me log back in. Okay, so we're back inside the assignment view. We have a single assignment, and we can click here and enter scores. So now when we hit the expand arrow, here's the assignment, we're going to see all of those standards show up right next to each other. There we go. So there's standard 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be much easier to enter here. So each of these rows represents one student. So student 1, student 2, student 3. And so if I'm referencing that report that we looked at in a prior video, and I know that the student scored all 4s except for on standard 4 and standard 6, there was a 3 and a 3. Well, then I can click through, or I can type in. So if I start off here, I can just tab and start typing. Mess that up, but then we can go back. I realize that I put the 3 in the wrong spot, so I can switch those. All right, and then I switch to the next student in my report, and I start populating that one. Have all 4s. Oops, I'm not entering an overall assignment score. If I did, let's take this student, and let's say this one represents all 3s. Well, I can push that across using this arrow right here. So 3s show up across the board. Which, if they're almost all 4s, except for a couple, that's a quick way to populate those and then go back in and change the ones that need to be a 3 to the 3, and so forth. All right, so we can go on down the line and get all of our student scores entered, and then we can save and return to the gradebook. Now you can see we're starting to see scores showing up. Why we know we entered scores for all 4 of these students. Why do I only see scores here? Well, that's because we're, again, in assignment view. We're looking at an overall assignment score. And for our purposes, this doesn't matter because this is not what the grade is based on. It's based on their standard scores. So these students up here still have a grade because we've entered scores into the standard column when we're in assignment view, which is just the opposite. If we want to see how they did on the standards, we can see all of their standard scores now displayed. This is what populates the gradebook over here. And if we wanted to change one of those, we'd have to get into the assignment to do that. And we can make that edit. So we got a couple of options for entry. I highly recommend entering them into assignment view and enter scores. Expand it to reveal the standards. Oops, one too many clicks there. And enter the scores here. Remember to save.